My husband emptied our savings for his internet soulmate. What I discovered about her was beyond my wildest nightmares. I 34F never thought I'd be sharing this story on Reddit, but I need to get this off my chest. My world collapsed 3 weeks ago when I discovered my husband of 8 years had drained our joint savings account, nearly $87,000 we'd been saving for a down payment on our dream home. It started when I noticed he'd been acting strange for months, always on his phone, smiling at texts, stepping outside to take calls. Classic signs, I know, but you never think it'll happen to you. When I tried checking our savings account to calculate how much more we needed for the house, I couldn't log in. The password had been changed. After confronting him, he broke down crying, admitting he'd been sending money to a woman he met online. Someone named Sophia, who he claimed was his soulmate. They'd never met in person, but they'd been talking for almost a year. He showed me their conversations, thousands of messages, video calls where her camera conveniently didn't work, and countless promises of meeting soon. I was devastated. 8 years of marriage, and he'd thrown it all away for someone he'd never even met in person. She needed help, he kept saying. Her mother has cancer. She needed money for treatments. Then it was car accidents, legal troubles, visa issues, every emergency imaginable. And my husband, the man I thought I knew, had fallen for all of it. I moved out that night to stay with my sister. I couldn't even look at him, but something didn't add up. I needed to know who this woman was. Call it closure or morbid curiosity, but I had to see the face of the person who had destroyed my marriage. I created a fake profile and began investigating. I found Sophia's account easily enough, the same one my husband had shown me. Beautiful profile pictures that looked almost too perfect. I reverse image searched them and found nothing, but her story had inconsistencies. Sometimes she mentioned siblings, other times she was an only child. Her location changed subtly in different conversations. I dug deeper, joining groups where she was active, and eventually found someone else who knew her. Another victim. Then another. All men, all sending money to the same woman for different emergencies. Working together, we pieced together information and eventually tracked down an email address, then a phone number. What we discovered left me speechless. Sophia wasn't a woman at all. It was a 57-year-old man operating from an internet cafe in a different country. But that wasn't even the worst part. When I confronted my husband with this information, expecting shock or remorse, his expression changed. Not surprise. Recognition. He admitted he'd discovered the truth a month ago but was too embarrassed to tell me. He'd continued sending money to protect his pride, hoping to somehow recover what he'd lost by playing along. Our life savings was gone. Our marriage was in shambles. And for what? A lie that he couldn't admit to falling for. I filed for divorce last week. Some betrayals you can work through, but this wasn't just about the money or even the emotional affair. It was about trust, judgment, and the realization that I didn't really know the man I'd married. Update 1. 1 week later. The divorce proceedings have started. My soon-to-be ex has been begging for another chance, saying he'll get help for his addiction to this relationship. His family has gotten involved, calling me heartless for not forgiving him. They don't understand that this isn't about forgiveness, it's about self-preservation. I've learned the scammer targeted at least 15 other men with the same routine. Some lost a few thousand, others their entire retirement funds. We've filed reports with authorities, but they say recovery is unlikely given the international nature of the scam. My husband's response? He started a GoFundMe to recover from being scammed. He didn't mention that he knew it was a scam for weeks and kept sending money anyway. He's painting himself as a victim, and people are actually donating. Meanwhile, I'm staying with my sister, trying to rebuild my life from scratch at 34. I never thought I'd be starting over at this age. Update 2, 3 weeks later. Things took an unexpected turn yesterday. I was contacted by a detective who's been investigating a ring of romance scammers. Apparently, the person who scammed my husband is part of a larger operation that's stolen millions from people across the country. The detective asked if I would help with their investigation since I'd already done so much research. I agreed immediately. If I can prevent others from going through this nightmare, at least something good will come from this mess. In a bizarre twist, my husband called me after being contacted by the same detective. He sounded different, humbled, genuinely remorseful. He's agreed to testify against the scammers, which might help authorities build their case. He also told me something I hadn't known. Before sending the bulk of our savings, he'd taken out a second mortgage on our house, the house that's still in both our names. We're now $320,000 in debt for a house worth $275,000. I'm meeting with a bankruptcy attorney tomorrow. Update 3, 2 months later. The investigation is progressing. Authorities have identified several members of the scam ring, including the man who posed as Sophia. They've frozen some accounts, but most of the money is gone, laundered through cryptocurrency and overseas banks. My ex has joined a support group for romance scam victims. He's been diagnosed with depression and is finally getting help. I don't hate him anymore, but I can't be with someone who could lie to me for so long, even after discovering the truth. I've moved into a small apartment and taken a second job to manage my share of the debt. My lawyer managed to negotiate a settlement where my ex takes responsibility for 70% of the second mortgage, but I'm still facing years of financial recovery. The most unexpected development came yesterday. One of the other victims, a widower who lost $42,000 to Sophia, reached out to thank me for my help in the investigation. We've been talking daily, supporting each other through the aftermath of this ordeal. He understands the humiliation and betrayal in a way no one else can. We're meeting for coffee next week. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm slowly rebuilding. If there's one thing I've learned from this nightmare, it's that life can change in an instant, sometimes for the worse, but sometimes offering unexpected new beginnings. Final update. 6 months later. The case against the scammers is going to trial. 3 people have been extradited to face charges, though the mastermind remains at large. I've been asked to testify about the financial and emotional impact of their crimes. My ex-husband has repaid about $15,000 of what he lost. He sold his car, works 2 jobs, and lives with his parents. He's not the same person anymore. The experience broke something in him that may never heal. Despite everything, I find myself feeling sorry for him. The house finally sold in a short sale. We took a loss, but at least we're not underwater on the mortgage anymore. I'll be paying off my share of the debt for years, but my credit score is slowly recovering. As for me, I've found unexpected strength in this ordeal. The support group I joined for scam victims asked me to become a coordinator since I've helped so many others navigate the aftermath. I've even been interviewed for a documentary about romance scams. The widower and I have become close friends. We're not rushing into anything romantic. We're both too scarred for that, but having someone who truly understands has been healing for both of us. Sometimes I still wake up angry about the money, the years wasted, the future stolen from me. But most days, I'm grateful for the clarity this experience has brought. I know who I am now. I know what I'm capable of surviving. If you're reading this and something feels off about your relationship, trust that feeling. Ask questions. Demand transparency. Real love doesn't drain your bank account or require constant financial emergencies. And if you're in the aftermath of betrayal like I was, know that there is a way forward. It's not the life you planned, but it can still be a good one.